Yeehaw! You got me feeling like a cowgirl. Yes,
That
yes.
feels appropriate.
What's happening? What's happening?
Oh god.
Oh man.
I told Jimbo if he does an NPC stream, I will buy
Bro, he
some
making
emotes
bank.
for him.
He making bank. He be making bank.
I would love that so much. All right,
Yes,
so we're going to jump into the first one.
Gang.
We've got a lot of leaks, but it's mostly governance stuff. No announcements this week. Normally there's something. A few leaks, and there's not too much. It'll be a pretty quick one, but it's some really important information. If you're keeping up with Illuvium, there are lots of big changes that are actually sweeping through governance, and it might go unnoticed by many. I know some people feel that way, so it's definitely going to be great to keep up with this one. But first, we've got an awesome leak for Chukundi. I don't know why it's lagging all of a sudden. Maybe we got to drop out of the full screen, unfortunately. But it looks fantastic.
This is my favorite, by the way. Super random, but this is my favorite. It looks so cool, man. It just looks sick. I like the dark, gritty stuff, like Diablo-esque, and this is very it's got that vibe. So a massive fan of this one.
It's absolutely awesome, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but I took my hand at putting it into an NFT. So I made up all the border wildfire arcanite. I had to edit a lot of this stuff. And I put it into NFT form, and it's not downloaded on this computer, but it actually is a perfect loop. I don't know if Twitter's going to do that. It looks like it does. It's a perfect loop inside the NFT. I think it looks absolutely sick. If you guys want to see more of that, like it, drop a comment, and maybe I can modify an entire PvP leak and make up my own stuff. That is how I envision the game looking. I have the skills to do so. It could be a lot of fun, but yeah, I hope you guys like this one.
Yeah. 100%, man.
You might have actually seen them in the game, TSG. Did I get it close or not really?
I haven't seen them in the game actually, but yeah, relatively close.
Fair enough. All right, we'll jump into the next one. We have the gold armor.
The links, right?
What? Yeah, the links. Yeah.
This is the links. Yeah.
So we got the gold armor. Honestly, it looks kind of cool when it's yellow. That's
cold.
I don't love it.
Nah, it's all right. It reminds me of the yellow Power Rangers.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's just a Power Ranger.
It's just a Power Ranger. Yeah.
Oh god.
Nah, but I mean, cool. If someone what's his name, Llama, he loves the. I haven't spoken to Llama in a bit. But yeah, Llama loves the Lynxes, right? So this might be just a thing for him. So yeah, I mean, to each their own. There's gonna be so many, man. There's gonna be so many, and I think it's gonna be interesting to see. All of these alluvial skins are obviously going to come from landholders with the blueprints and whatnot. But I'm excited to see the skins that aren't alluvial skins that, again, maybe unlocked via Illuvium Beyond in certain things. It could be various things that we could do, which I'm very excited about. And there's so many skins. It's going to be, the customization is going to be wild. Super random. I've actually been every night I've gone to play one game of Dota a night before I call it a night. And I've just actually started buying skins in that game. I've never bought skins before, but yeah, there are just so many. And we're building reminds me of that. It's man, there's just gonna be so much customization. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, I remember when I first got the Pulsefire Ezreal skin in League. Well, that was pretty awesome. It was the most expensive skin on the market. And I'm it's just got so many new stuff and all the emotes and everything change. It just it's playing a completely different character, in a sense.
Yeah.
I just thought it was awesome. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The next one we'll move on to is the water flowing leak. Now the big part about this is him walking through the water. Maybe these effects didn't exist before. I think it's done a pretty good job. I need to see it fully in the game and stuff before I make judgment on this one, really. But I mean, it looks good. That splash was pretty cool, actually. I forget seeing that. What do you think?
Yeah, and also, yeah. I mean, in the first couple of regions that we have, we're not necessarily going to be walking through the water anyway. So, you die if you do that in Abyssal or Crimson. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's just fine tuning it, Grant being Grant, and pushing the team to up it into that AAA standard that he expects, nothing less than. So yeah, it's cool to see. There's a lot happening on the back end with the development stuff that's just pushing it up to that next level now. PV3 is going to be exciting. I'm really, really excited. Again, this quarter, where essentially, man, crazy how fast time goes. We're essentially 1 month done already. It's the 20th. So 2 months left. Yeah, man, 1 day closer to PvP. That's the big thing.
Time flies when you're like crazy doing stuff. I think, yeah.
Oh, bro.
I think we're gonna fly through August. We're not even gonna feel it. And then September's gonna start to get interesting. Hopefully we get some leaks here and there in August, and maybe like a founder battle or something. Kieran and Aaron can battle it out in PvP or something like that. That could be pretty fun.
Well, they're all gonna be away, so chances of that happening is slim.
Oh, you never know. Kieran, if someone all of a sudden gave him a build, he'd be pretty excited to try it. Like not on the wedding day, but
yeah. Actually, that'd be pretty gangster there. I won't lie to you. That'd be pretty gangster if we got something happening. If we somehow got a build going, that would be pretty sick.
I'm pretty sure on the survival mode thing, they had like a laptop, I think, because one of them might have been away at the time when they first. Kieran dropped like a thing where he's like, I think he interviewed you and he wasn't at home or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember, but sure. I would expect him to be pretty excited. You never know. All right. So we've got these leaks of Crimson Wastes. I don't get what they're showing, to be honest.
I think it's just adding the grass and like the set dressing and making it look a little bit better. Because I think again one of the big things was when we designed when the team designed the blockouts, we hadn't really considered the sliding and the gliding. So now again, just reworking some of it and really making sure that we can optimize it. Josh, yeah, man, inflation, crazy, right?
What are your thoughts on inflation, TSG? Hit us.
Yo, I reckon we should all DM Josh.eth as he is my official legal financial advisor, and he's willing to do the same for everyone else as well. So I am not in the position to say anything or give advice, but Josh.eth 100% is. So DM him. Amazing financial advisor, and he does it free of charge. So check him out.
Shit, I'm gonna have to send him a message.
Yeah, 100%.
Josh,
He turned my 500 into 10,000. So
what?
He's the guy.
Josh, I got 500. Send me your wallet address. I'll get it over to you.
God.
All right.
That was a joke, guys. He did not. He lost me everything that I had, so don't trust him at all.
Let's not go down that road. All right. So now we've got the proposal process optimization. Now, this one might be a little bit dull for some of you guys. We've got some better ones coming later. But basically, the proposal, and this is passed, I believe. Suggests introducing a sponsor role for each proposal. Long story short, the sponsor would have the authority that the original intent of the proposal is maintained throughout the deliberation process. Because what happens, and in Gov V1, it was a lot easier to manage with just one council that was going to see a proposal and things like that. But in Gov 2, it got a lot more messy, believe me. But the big idea really is that even though the community's upvoted this proposal, it doesn't mean it's not going to change. And what that means is it can't go back through the community every single time there's a minor change. So by having this sponsor on each individual proposal that makes sure that they maintain that intent, it can get revised piece by piece as it goes, because it goes through 3 different sub-councils, right? Community sub-council will probably approve it if the community approves it, but like marketing, game, or whatever, and then maybe the IMC might want some slight adjustments, and it'll be the sponsor's job to make sure that lines up with their intent. I think it's a good change. Hopefully it's helpful moving forward. We've had a little bit of teething problems with Gov V2 in the past month.
Being generous.
But I think we're finally getting on the right track. So it's exciting, to be honest. I'm excited to get through that part of Gov V2. We all saw it coming. There was going to be problems at some point, but yeah.
Yeah, I have no opinion on this. I won't lie. I didn't read this or care about this. I've been super busy with everything else that I did not even look into that. But if it passed and everyone's happy with it, cool.
Okay, so this one here is a proposal for a visually distinct alpha stamp for Wave 1 Illuvitars. Basically, the implemented golden alpha stamp will be assigned to Wave 1 alphas, and the intent moving forward will be to do that for every single Wave 1 in future sets and
You mean
so on and so
just
forth.
Wave 1 or all alphas?
So all alphas will have the stamp, but I believe
Yeah.
Wave 1 will have a visually distinct stamp. In this case, it'll be gold. I don't know what's going to look like on all the other alphas,
So
maybe silver.
What's the purpose of that? Like, why?
Because the price is going to be a lot higher for Wave 1. I have no idea, man. The 5x multiplier was probably never going to stick around, and it's it's a pretty hot debate.
So what? So set 2, we're going to go back to a 5x, and then we're going to have the gold, like...
That I have not figured out.
Because if it's going to be... Yeah, I don't know. I think it's...
I don't think so. But that...
Yeah.
It sounds like set 2, it's not going to go to a 5x, but they're still going to have the gold stamp on them. It's just going to become a
again,
Wave
why would Wave 1 have a gold... Like, it's... Yeah, whatever. Cool. Yeah.
Or maybe it'll just be this set of Illuvitars, period. Like the first edition's first ever created. I'm not sure.
Cool. Yep.
People wanted them. It's I'm pretty sure it's past Game Council and it hasn't gone to IMC yet. I can't imagine why they wouldn't pass it. It does seem a little bit weird, but I don't know. People wanted it. People enjoyed it. Everyone was pretty happy with it. It's not hard for the art team to do. If that's what the community wants.
I just don't understand the sentiment. Like, why?
Yeah. I don't really see a downside. It's people trying to protect their investments and make it feel more special as a first edition and that sort of stuff. And that's fine.
So just have the first edition stamp or like have the alpha stamp on all. Like, why does it need to be a distinct like that? I just don't get that. But whatever. Again, cool. Whatever.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
All right, here's where we start to get more complicated with the Illuvitars Wave 2 sale parameters. Yep. Since TSG is on the marketing team and I'm on the marketing sub-council, we're not going to talk about this too heavily because obviously it'd be a pretty biased take. I will say that we are currently going through a little bit more revising on the proposal. Blichter being the sponsor will make sure that it aligns with the intent properly. One of the harder parts is like, we're going to line it up with ETH. It can't really be priced in USD. So there's that. And the odds might need to be adjusted a bit and things like that. But overall, it's going to be much better, I assure you. I've taken a good hard look at all the changes that we're discussing. But the long story short for this one, as it's written here, is basically way better weighting. So I don't know if I can zoom in on this one. Hold on. All right. There you go. Way better weighting on the discs. This is going to change a little bit, but the idea is basically the T1 gets dropped and it gets added mostly to T3 and T4, which is a big addition. It's going to shift a little bit and keeping T5 almost the same. This is not only to protect future revenues, because the harder it is to get everything, the more money that the DAO can make and the more the token holders can benefit. And people want something to achieve too. They want something to be scarce, which is perfectly fine. It will be easier in this wave a little bit, but that's for a few different factors. But yeah, it should just be a more enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I'm not a math whiz, so correct me if I'm wrong. If we're using 0.4% waiting for T5 in wave 1 and 0.5 in wave 2, so essentially what we'd need to do is let's just say we'd need to spend $1,000, just a random number, to get the entire set to get the chance of a T5. If we're putting it at 0.5, that's a 25% increase. So that would relatively stay the same, right? Like it wouldn't be in order to complete it, the amount spent would, or the total amount of discs bought would need to be relatively similar, correct?
It's pretty close. The problem is that these proposed weightings, it's not in this proposal yet, but we took a look at it and we might actually adjust the weighting for accessories and backgrounds as well. That's not confirmed, but that does adjust some of the stuff because when it comes to megas, it starts to get a bit different. But out of a standard disc, it would be 25%. You would get it 25% faster.
Sorry. Probably an easy way to explain it would be, so let's say you bought 100 discs to get the tier 5 in wave 1. Wave 2, you need to get 75 discs. Is that correct? A 25% decrease, yeah.
But you need to remember that on a stage 3, so Ramfire, a Ramfire isn't necessarily 0.5, right?
Yeah. Again, I'm just giving a a very simplified, like I'm using very basic numbers. If it's 100, it's 25% less, which is 75. But yeah, cool. Yeah, I think that's relatively reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's actually quite interesting. Overall, it actually ends up pretty similar because of the way the megas work and the threshold and all that sort of stuff. It actually doesn't change that much in a mega disc, at least. I guess it technically would be slightly easier in a standard, but it's still easier to get in the mega. So at least bang for your buck. So it actually remains pretty much the same. So yeah, it's quite an interesting one. There's a lot behind the scenes, a lot of maths. It's trust me, we're working with the experts on this to get the best information possible and push it forward that way.
And something I don't know how many people are going to watch this or if we clip this and put it out somewhere. But again, it's not one of those things where we just pull numbers out of our ass and say, "Here, guys, we would like this." That is not what we are doing. It goes back and forth, looking at data, looking at numbers, looking at stats, really breaking it down mathematically, and then coming to a conclusion. It's not just, "Hey, I feel like this number." That is not why we are doing it. We're considering expressions, backgrounds, rarities, how many tier 1s, tier 2s. There's so many variables that we are considering to come up with these numbers. And so in the community, in conversations, when you want to throw your 2 cents in there, just think about that. Think about it that we have considered all the variables, or at least 99% of the variables, before coming to this conclusion. So if you haven't done the same, like, understand why your opinion might be disregarded.
Yeah, the hardest part with a proposal like this when it comes to pricing is short-term versus long-term revenue. Now, ultimately, the DAO's goal most of the time is to maximize revenue for the DAO. For token holders, all the rest of it, that's very important. But it's very hard to predict what a good or a bad price point is for a proposal like this or for anything in general. When you think about it, short-term revenue, it's highly likely that a higher price is going to generate more revenue in the short term based on existing data and things like that. However, you do need to consider that a lower price might generate more revenue in the long term. It's all the things that you can't really predict because they're human behavior, but even something as simple as if the price is too high, then those coming into the overworld might be like, okay, some of these products seem a bit too high. Maybe I'm not going to spend my money in the overworld anymore because this just seems cash grabby or whatever it is they might be thinking. And it's hard to predict what that might look like, but if it turns enough people away from the overworld, that could have a detrimental effect on revenue. So trying to balance those two has been the key conversation that we've been having in the council. And I think we've come to a pretty happy medium at the moment, although I'd like the price to be a bit higher than it's settling at the moment. I definitely do think the price needs to come down a little bit.
I'm going to agree with that. I think the price should be slightly higher than what is proposed, but we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, so there's so many factors to come up with, and no one has the answer. We're going off the data we can predictably use. We're going off the data we can predict in the future based on other games and stuff. But really, the hardest part has been that Illuvium Beyond is pretty unique in Web 2 and Web 3. There's nothing else like it for so many reasons I can't even list them off. And that means that we're carving our own path here, and we just have to live with that.
And we've only got one data set right now as well. So that's the thing. And the data and stuff that we're talking about is obviously an interpretation of the data. Data never really says this is the truth. It's how we interpret that. So yeah, having one data set is not ideal. It's just the situation that we're in. There's no changing that. So after wave 2, we have 2 data sets. Then we can start to make comparisons, which is when, if we think that this took a lot of time to come to, I'm curious to see what interpretation of 2 data sets, what that process is going to look like.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So we'll move on to the next one here. I really like this proposal. I don't know if you've seen this one yet, TSG, but proposed changes to how rare Illuvitar and mega discs is calculated. Currently, as many of you guys already know, the mega threshold is 1250. What this means is that
it's
for that specific slot, no, it's 1250.
Okay.
I'm not having this conversation again.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 1200, but yeah, sure.
I know a lot of people think it's 1200, but I'm sure it's 1250. Anyways,
okay.
So what happens is it keeps re-rolling that slot in the disc until it finds a 1250 Illuvitar. But that gets really interesting when you start to look at the odds. What that does is it bumps up a lot of weird stuff. So firstly, you have a chance at a T1, but it's always going to have like a killer expression and a killer background, which is actually kind of a good thing because you're still searching for those things to fill out your collection.
Yeah.
But the other big change is holos. Since it knocks out so much of the lower stuff and so many things get above that threshold just by being holo, your holo chance goes up like crazy. And that's why they're like holo lynxes and lynxes are like 1-to-1 on the marketplace. Right. It's insane. So I do agree that it's an interesting way to do it. I disagree that it's the wrong way to do it. I think it's actually quite novel, and I like how it has like an air of mystery to it. But what Benet is talking about here is he's suggesting changing it up, and basically the mega would just have different odds to the standard. It wouldn't have this re-roll thing. It would just have different odds. I think that's great in a lot of ways. It would make holos 1 in 20 across the board. That would be the huge change, unless you had that separate for megas. Mm-hmm. And then it'd be a lot more predictable as well. For example, if you wanted to, you could entirely cut out T1s and T2s in mega discs if you wanted to. Well, I like the idea of having a chance of getting something bad as well. So that's what Benet's talking about here. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't care. I mean, like, what was there a lot of? I don't know. I personally would like to see the mega discs actually go up slightly from 1250 to maybe 1350, maybe. That's essentially what I would do, and keep it the same system. But yeah. Before, I don't really like how much focus Illuvium Beyond gets. I mean, the thing is, like, I get why you're saying that, but it's the one product that we have right now that's actually generating revenue, and it's not a small amount of revenue as well. So as all the other games are in development and aren't yet producing or generating revenue, it's not something that we can be discussing on the forefront every single day. Like, we can't just keep saying, oh, we can't wait for PvP. Yo, guys, PvP's coming. Yes, PvP. Like, it's the same talking point again and again and again. So with Illuvium Beyond and what that's doing, again, the revenue that is generated already and what it's doing in regards to opening up doors with partnerships and things like that, I think it's getting the correct amount of attention. But if you disagree, completely understand, and we can agree to disagree there.
I think for me personally, I like it as dangling keys, so to speak. I like being able to open Illuvium Beyond Disc, watch a stream, or just open a pack every now and then. And that just keep me occupied while I wait for every other part of the Illuvium ecosystem. But I love collecting. It's pretty much, it caters to me specifically in so many ways you have no idea. But no, I really love, I really love Illuvium Beyond. I think it's great. And we should mention that we're highly conscious of the dev team and everything they're currently doing and stuff like that. And we get relayed that information to the council as well. And it's pretty much on the very, if a dev has to take time away from PvP to do anything to do with Beyond, it's pretty much goes to the bottom of the list unless we desperately need that. Okay, we're just very conscious of it. Believe me.
To make it clear, the number one priority for everyone on the team is PvP. That is non-negotiable. So that is the number one priority. So maybe outwardly you might be seeing that it's Illuvium Beyond, but I promise you it's not. I promise you it's not.
And we have proof of that is they've already put in a new rule structure revision for Ascendant.
Oh, is this the game sub-council thing? Yeah.
Yes. So the game sub-council's put this through. This hasn't, I don't think this has gone to vote yet.
Nope. But I'm pretty sure it's all positive, right?
It has the 50 upvote, so it's good to go to vote. And yeah, do you want to lay it down? Do you remember what it is?
Yeah. So essentially, it's just I know previously they discussed in Ascendant you could have an Atlas and it could play all 3 stages. And now they're saying, yo, guys, we don't want to do that. We actually want you to go and collect it, or we're going to have a rotating decks or rotating playable cards for players that don't own them. So that way you're still able to test them out and try them on like a weekly basis. And for example, let's say you're a free-to-play player, but then you have access to a Rampire. You're like, holy shit, what is this? This is awesome. And it incentivizes you to buy it on the secondary or go out and collect it yourself. I think that it's genius. Like it's obvious it doesn't mess with the market. Again, if you have an Atlas and you can play all three, why would you need to go get another Atlas? And like it just you're stifling the demand for no reason. So forcing that and doing that is cool. And it's also very similar to I played League like back in the day when it came out, and I know they used to do this. Again, the reason I play Dota is you can play whatever you want all the time, which is great. But yeah, with League, they used to have it so it would rotate characters, right?
It does.
And
it rotates weekly, I believe.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you have to you can buy it or you have to level up to unlock it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have to buy it kind of, but you can earn the currency from just playing.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, whatever it is. But yeah, so I think something like that is really, really cool. So if it works for League, I think it works for us, and there's not much else I can add to that. But yeah.
I think my favorite part about it all is that progression is really important. Progression is going to be the key driving factor to playing the overworld. For example, right now, if I were to try and just get one of everything, stage one or whatever, it probably wouldn't take me long to do it at all. It's about having to level them up and evolve them and everything. That is that journey to reaching the end goal of trying to catch them all. And promoting that's really important. That being said, you can just go buy the things you're missing off the marketplace. Now, I know everyone doesn't want to go pay for that stuff, but at the same time, there's enough players playing. Firstly, they won't be overly expensive. And if you need them, then there'll be lots of people going to capture them. So the other side of things is that the more stuff you have to get, the cheaper they can make the game. Okay. So if it was too easy to get everything, then they might have to make it kind of expensive to play the game because it's too easy for you to build a deck. And we can't really have that. It makes it a little bit hard with other things. But anyways, the more stuff you have to get, it means that it's going to take you 100, 200 hours, which means now each run in the overworld is going to be super duper cheap because they want to keep you playing for as long as possible without feeling like you're spending thousands of dollars or anything like that. That's definitely not what Illuvium wants to do. And I think the consistency, the progression is way better way moving forward. Plus, you're going to need to be spending so much time in there anyways to get all your shards and mining the rocks and everything. It wouldn't make much sense to shorten the alluvial time on that. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's a great proposal. Props to the game team. And yeah, yo, Harry Larry McNary. When are we gonna get the game? I mean, Q4, right? Q3 PvP, Q4 the game. So I mean, damn, if you've been waiting, I don't know how long you've been waiting, but if you've been waiting, a couple more months shouldn't be too much of an ask.
It's a struggle, Harry. I really do feel you. I've even been burning out myself a little bit lately. I haven't even been working that hard lately, like on YouTube and everything. And I've really been feeling it. I'm excited for Illuvium Beyond to come out. That'll help a little bit, but yeah, it's pretty overwhelming. And I'm
mean PvP
as well?
You mean PvP to come out or Beyond to come out?
PvP. Yeah. But I mean, I'm excited for Beyond to come out because it'll keep my mind a little bit more occupied until PvP.
You know what's crazy? We've had a couple of months without Beyond. It feels very quiet. It feels like when Beyond was live and people were opening discs, like there was activity, it was fun, like there was things happening. It feels very, very quiet now that we've had a bit of a break.
Yep. I bought some Beyond discs off the secondary to open them, and it sucked.
Oh wow,
they're so expensive.
Yeah. So I'm very curious. Actually, is that going to incentivize more people to get it while it's live? Who knows? But yeah, fascinating. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Q4, Harry, chill. I'm getting so Harry waiting all the time. Again, Q4. I don't know what else to say, guys. A couple more months. Bear with us a couple more months.
Yeah.
We have look, I'm not gonna leak anything, but I will say that me and Lauren are working tirelessly on the back end with partners and things like that. The next 6 months are gonna be big. Like, I'll just put it like that. There's a lot to be excited for in regards to the launches and what accompanies the launches. But we are working tirelessly. Like, I've got bags under my eyes and I'm still sleeping all right. But yeah, bear with us.
Yeah, it's one step at a time, guys. Believe me, everyone's working as fast and as hard as they can. And It'll all be worth it when it comes out. It'll all be worth it.
A new set only adds more units. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that goes and what happens. I think with new units, there's definitely going to be new metas that come, new things that happen. Maybe new augments get implemented. That there are things that can happen. So yeah,
I don't know. I think there's so much to consider. It TFT has not that many characters per set. What, 30 maybe? And we've got over 150. I feel like there's a lot of depth that will keep people occupied and things like that. And that being said, it won't be the only thing you're doing. You'll be running around the overworld. You'll be playing the arena sometimes. Maybe you'll play survival every now and then and try and get on top of the leaderboard.
I think the arena guys are like, you're going to have a subset of the arena guys. I'm actually curious. I'll throw it to you. What percentage of arena guys do you reckon are going to play overworld and arena compared to just playing arena? Like, do you reckon it's going to be a 50-50 split? Like, people that play arena will spend half their time in overworld and arena? Do you reckon it'll be 25%, 10% in overworld and the majority? Like, what do you reckon? I don't reckon it's going to be a 50-50 split. I think the arena guys are going to stick with arena and do a minority time in overworld. Overworld doing a majority, same ratio, kind of like a 75-25. I don't see the arena guys being like, oh man, I just want to go play overworld now. Like TFT players, I'm just going to be like, oh, let me just, yeah, that's why I'm asking you. And let us know in the chat as well.
I don't think the overworld is that enticing. I think it's great, but I don't think anyone who's into Pokemon and stuff, at least not in Illuvium's early days, is going to be hyper engaged with the overworld on its own. That being said, I haven't seen leveling, and maybe that changes the entire thing. It's very possible. So I think those that are into the overworld are also going to be people that love arena, and they're going to spend half and half their time, kind of a thing. There'll be a small subset that love just the overworld. So I think those people are going to be mostly playing both, but I definitely think there's going to be a large group of people that just play the arena. I think that's as well. I think there's the two cohorts. I don't know which one's going to be larger, but yeah, it's hard to say. Illuvium Zero is going to be an interesting one. As the game gets more interesting, it could be pretty huge. Yeah,
it's a wild card. Yeah, for sure. Harry McClary, yeah, no, you're not hijacking the stream. I get it, man. I get it. We've been working on this for a while, and like, dude, we're working tirelessly, like I say on the back. So we feel it too, man. We feel it too. Honestly, this is like a weird thing to say, but the positivity from the community genuinely means a lot to the team, man. Like when we see everyone bummed out, it's like, damn, we working so hard and everyone's bummed out. It does affect us. Like, yeah, it does affect us. And as much of a hard ass as I am on camera, like it truly doesn't affect me too much. I'm just like, I can't be bothered dealing with it. But yeah, I know for a lot of the team, it does affect them. So the positivity goes a long way, and understanding that we're working super, super hard, we're right around the corner. So just consider that. G Hamster, Warwick AMAs. Yeah, we haven't heard from them in a while because I've been busy as hell with a bunch of other things that I haven't even gone looking for AMAs. I'll be completely honest. I'll probably do something prior to Beyond Wave 2 coming out. I'll try and set up a bunch of things, but right now I'm in contact with a bunch of people. Again, I'm grinding out doing some other things. So I wish I had time. I wish I had time to set up AMAs. I don't, but whatever comes naturally, I do. I think there's a couple in the next couple of weeks, but yeah, look, before you'll see a massive run up of AMAs about 2 weeks before Beyond launches. I'll give you that leak.
I would love to AMA Grant and get some leaks and stuff. Do my own showcase.
I mean, he's not about he might be. We'll see. I know he's been. So cool. Even Grant's been asking me. I'll be completely upfront. Grant's been asking me to get him on like Web 2 art, like or dev or like just Web 2 kind of AMAs. I did a bunch of outreach, and I just haven't even been able to follow up on it. I'm slammed with everything else. Like it's just And he's coming after me, being like, "Yo, what happened to these AMAs?" I'm like, "Yo, I just don't have time, man. This is not the priority right now." But yeah,
I didn't know that was a part of your job. Maybe the marketing stuff is going to help you out.
It's not. That's the thing. It's not a part of my job. It's just it's just something that I did, and now it's just expected. But yeah,
that's all good. Maybe we can help you out. All right,
please
have a good one, guys. I think it's time for us to sign off. Do you have any last words?
Man, appreciate you all. That was a quick one. Yeah,
Sure.
appreciate you guys.
I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys are better acquainted with some of the recent governance stuff. It seemed like a blitz too. Like all these proposals came out at like the same time. It was crazy. All right, have a good one, guys.